Hi guys, Aaron here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'll be touching on the subject of wheels again. And what I want to compare today is a relatively basic set of carbon fiber wheels versus a super high-end, no expenses spared, very deep section, very expensive rim. So what really is the difference? Because some people might say that, well, given the price, it's not really worth upgrading all the way to the top of the line wheels such as these MVs, for example. Well, right now at the moment all of the wheel sets that I own are MVs, and if you watch my videos you know that I've used to run a set of 4.5 clinchers in my Madone. Well, I've sold those last week. So I've ordered a set of 5.6s, which are the new tubeless compatible replacement for the 4.5s. So there will be a better pairing with the 7.8 I have as my other road racing and time trialing wheel set. And for that time, one of my friends has been kind enough to borrow me his Cannondale hologram wheel set that came with his Super 6 Evo, and I think this is a good opportunity to, well, based on my experiences after a couple of rides, to really compare the two wheel sets. So what are you getting when you're stepping up from, let's say, a standard wheel set that comes on the bike, it's kind of OEM spec, to basically the top of the line highest end aero wheel set there is. So the first thing I immediately noticed is the braking. Now most standard wheel sets in this price range use, well, just basically a normal reinforced brake track when we're talking about clinchers, and MVs use a very high-end textured brake track. I haven't ridden the Cannondales in the wet, but the difference even in the dry is quite apparent. So the modulation and the braking power are nowhere near as good as on the MVs, so that's one thing that you gain, so braking. Then the other thing you're gaining is weight, or the lack thereof. When I compare the wheelset weight of these, I would say, what is this, around 35, maybe 40 mil at best, to this 70/80 mil wheel set. These actually are only heavier by a couple of tens of grams. And if you compare that to the drag reduction they offer, it's well, it upsets the balance quite a lot. Today I've done a road race with 1,000 meters of climbing, and really I rather chose the deep section wheel set because, well, the aero advantage is huge. These test very fast even against some other deep rims, and weight wise they don't really weigh any more than the holograms. Then another thing that also contributes to the higher drag is the use of round spokes. Of course, most high-end wheel sets use bladed spokes now. That's not a major thing or a major reduction, but still it counts. The interesting thing about the Cannondales is they use hidden spoke nipples, so that is not seen very often, but contributes to the lower drag. Then the other thing I've noticed is the stability, and that comes from again the intricate design of these 7.8s. Now the weather today was hugely windy, around 40 to 50 km per hour gusts, and around 30 km per hour steady wind, and even in the side windy areas, even at my low 60 kilo weight, I can't really feel any major pushes from the MVs. And earlier this week when I rode the Cannondales or the holograms, I felt the same. But honestly, If these were in the same price bracket, if you were to scale up this rim to an 80mm, it would be definitely much worse. So I think that's a testament to the Envy's performance. You know, if you compare the stability of these two, and they're quite similar in that regard in terms of handling. Well, yeah, that's another gain you're making. You're not really sacrificing either weight or brake performance or crosswind stability by going so much deeper and gaining so much aero advantage. Yeah, the other thing you get is, of course, build quality. These use pretty standard hubs, no real fancy quick releases or hub shells or super light stuff. Whereas with the MV carbon hubs, you get the super slick ceramic speed bearings, the carbon fiber hub shell, a nice DT ratchet internals. So yeah, that's also quite a big difference over there. So in the end, is it really worth investing or upgrading your wheel set if you already have a decent carbon wheel set like this Cannondale hologram wheel set? Well, that really depends on your needs. Yeah, if you want to win races and every second counts, or in time trialing even more, then yes, you will definitely see some big gains from a super high-end piece of kit. Ultimately, not really in all-out speed, but also in terms of handling and braking, which are very important in racing situations, but not that important if you only ride by yourself and not chasing those victories. So yeah, it really depends on your budget and what your preferences are. I'd like to point out that this wheel set is still perfectly fine wheel set to ride, and just from those couple of rides, if I compare my average speeds and powers between the two, there's not like a 3k per hour, 4k per hour difference. There is a difference, and it's apparent, but again, it's not a night and day difference, like for example in a shallow box section wheel and the deep section wheel. So yeah, I hope this gives you some insight. And well, there are a lot of naysayers about high-end components, but I think by this and by this experience that I've had recently, I really can justify the price difference indeed. Okay, so now if you want to know more about the actual bike setups that I used here, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe to check out my other videos. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.